Oh, wow. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Chiliz Show. I know it's been a while. Always feels like forever with how quickly things are moving, Joe. Listen, really excited about this show, even though we didn't hit 5K views on episode 3. I guess this is the time to make up for it. Before I kind of go through a little rundown of what we're going to be talking about, I want to say hi to all of our viewers. If you look at the chat, I think it's pretty obvious that we are the most popular English language internet show for the Korean and Turkish markets. It's kind of good. The pressure's off because I know that, maybe most people won't understand everything we say, so that's good.
Yes. Less
chances to fuck up.
Yep.
Listen, guys.
Am I going to get to introduce myself?
Yeah, sure, Joe.
Yes.
Sure, Joe.
Hi, guys. My name's Joe. I'm the crypto marketing manager here at Chiliz. I want to say merhaba to our Turkish friends and also annyeong. I think that's annyeong in Korean. Okay, 1 second. We're going to adjust the microphone here a little bit. Is that better? We're good here? Yes, so hello to our Korean friends, our Turkish friends, and anyone who's watching from around the world. Today we have a special guest, actually, Boris the Pigeon, because of Serena's not going to be joining us.
Okay. See, Joe, this is why we stick to the rundown. I was going to make a much better setup for all these bits. And also throw it to you to do some good content.
Well, we can run it back.
Okay, let's run it back. So anyways, guys, welcome to everyone. If you're wondering why I look a little more aggressive and Slavic, I buzzed off all my hair. It turns out it's very hard to take showers every day when you have a newborn baby at home. So you have to hide that and look professional by not having any hair, as our CEO Alex Dreyfus knows full well. Actually, shout out to little Mavi. He's probably watching right now, my little son. So hopefully he's excited by the sound of my voice. Anyways, guys, for the catch up, we have a lot of stuff to cover. We got famous players wearing stuff that's been chosen by Socios.com users. We have a bunch of news that I think Joe is going to be more than excited to go over. We have some IRL in-camera, in-stadium experiences with some of our partners that have been pretty cool.
Yep.
And, after that, we're going to talk a lot about news. As always, as tradition on this show, it's going to be very vague but very exciting news to begin with. But I hope you'll forgive us for that. So you know what? I'll just I'll throw it to Joe now because he's got some really good stuff for you guys.
Okay, so first of all, if you're here and you're watching the stream, that's absolutely great. I'd like to let you know we have an AMA section in which we allow you guys to ask us questions. Now that comes after the news, right? So if you have questions, start writing them now. One of our good colleagues, Tom Pickering, is in the chat who is going to be sending me the questions. So please get them in and you'll be rewarded with $10 in Chiliz if we answer your question. Hopefully we're going to get some time in to answer a lot of questions today because of today isn't a normal show. Do you know why?
It's going to be the new normal. Today's a new normal because we're going to actually, usually we always tease on this show.
Yes.
But everyone's looking for the goods, Joe.
Yeah.
And I think we may have the goods this time.
Yeah. So we will be announcing a new partner today on the show, but manage expectations. It's not any of the locker rooms. I just want to get out of the way because I know there's a lot of hype about that right now. But I'm sure that this partnership announcement is going to be enjoyed by everyone, mainly a large part of our audience.
And Joe chose the very serendipitous time of 4:20 p.m. Central European time to do the announcement. So if you guys are kind of sitting there anxious, like telling us, shut up, tell us what the team is, and we can leave, you know when you can tune back in, basically. So we'll see you in about 50 minutes.
Yes, and I just wanted to say one more thing. Thank you so much for all of your support over the past couple of months. It's been absolutely crazy. And I'm sure that everyone at Chiliz HQ and our team members from around the world would absolutely agree. But obviously, whether the price of Chiliz goes up or down, I know we've reached a new all-time high, and this is fantastic, obviously. But do manage your expectations, no matter whether the price is going to go up or down. We will continue to build partnerships, relationships, and kind of just tell the world about Socios and our mission.
It's an experience and marketplace platform. Yeah. We're not in the speculation game. We're here for the build. We're here for the build in the long term. All right. Anyways, let's just get straight to the catch up because I want to make sure the AMA kind of has room to breathe. We won't go over too much sports stuff because, as you guys are aware by now, Serena's not here. Serena's actually backstage taking notes on how to be a master producer with Richard. That's a joke. That class would be about 5 minutes long. She's actually busy doing something else back at the office.
Yeah.
Anyways, catch up. ACM news. It happened. It got listed on Binance.
Yes.
I don't know if Joe wants to comment on that or not.
I mean, I don't think there's really much to talk about there. We listed the ACM fan token. Obviously, it's kind of significant because it's the first locker room converted, then listed pretty quickly on Binance and also a few other exchanges as well. So pretty impressive, if you ask me.
I think it gave us as a company a lot more confidence too, because that was a novel approach. No FTO, just straight to a listing. And it was... Fans were happy. The team was happy. We were happy. Even in terms of price stability and the volume that we were able to achieve, kind of the traction for the token, it almost felt like it entered the open marketplace at its organic value and demand. So there wasn't any of that crazy up or down or anyone tweeting at us upset for whatever reason. You guys
People are always going to tweet us upset.
You guys always have a reason to be upset. This show will be no different. Please, put in the comments any things that upset you about the show, really. All right, moving on. We have, I think this will be important for a lot of people watching the show, a lot of new hires, specifically in customer support. We understand that we have a lot of tickets, and we're getting to them. Yes. We understand that you guys are needy and you need help, and we're trying to be there for you as much as possible. But the problem is there's too many of you guys too quickly, okay? Yeah. I don't want to say we didn't plan on these levels of success, but it's very hard to keep track, but we're doing our best. Even as of today, we've had 5 new hires come into the office. So we're very active about increasing our bandwidth.
Yes, and sorry.
No, go ahead.
This isn't just the issue that's affecting us. It's absolutely affecting the whole industry, Binance, Crypto.com, lots of other exchanges. There's one thing you just can't scale for, and that's just a sudden surge of retail people coming into the crypto ecosystem. So.
Yeah, very true. We also had, between our shows, some listings, bitcoin.com, OKX.
Yeah.
You want to say
that was
actually,
about that? They listed today.
They listed today.
So we listed on OKX today and bitcoin.com today, both reputable exchanges. OKX obviously has big influence in Asian region, which is obviously good for us.
Yeah, okay. And Richard, if you can shoot it over to Boris the Pigeon in honor of Serena's absence here, because I'm going to go through just some quick sports-related stuff, sports-related news. Lionel Messi wore a special armband when Barca played Sevilla. It had a message featuring something that was chosen by. There we go. We actually have a photo of it. The message: "No child offside," chosen by Socios.com users in support of the Barca Foundation. We were really proud of being able to get our users involved in something that's for a good cause cool. in Barcelona. Barcelona. It's one of the biggest teams in the world. You would have think that could have gone for like more ornate graphics on the armband, but I don't know. Maybe that's some weird FIFA regulation. We'll have to figure that out later. And also the second news, and Richard, in this case, I'm going to give you a huge kind of, berth to do this on time. Can you cue up the AS Roma AC Milan video? Because we had something really cool happen.
Yes.
Recently, the first ever. You know what? I'll shoot it to Joe because it's got some crypto banter.
Yes.
You can tell him.
So in crypto, we have a saying called OTC, which means over the counter. It's basically trading of crypto over not on the main market. So you meet with someone. Either you can do it in real life, or there's special platforms for doing OTC deals. For example, Binance has an OTC desk, it's pretty cool. This was the first ever OTC transaction of a fan token. Play the clip.
That's a nice video.
Yep.
Shout out to the video team. We keep getting more and more kind of emotionally mature videos like that. I don't know what the teams did once they made that trade, given their, let's say, rivalry's history. Maybe they threw them out. Maybe they're keeping it. I would say they're probably not holding the other team's token in their locker rooms, but you never know. I would also like to point out that technically it's not an OTC trade. That's an OTP trade, over the pitch. Over the pitch trade, guys. That's why you tune into this show.
Oh, you missed the reaction of our faces. Richard.
There they are.
Yeah.
There they are. Okay. Thanks for that, Richard.
Yes, thank you, Richard.
There we had Pellegrini and Donnarumma doing the honors. Pretty cool stuff. Also, I don't know if Richard's going to show this, but we've added 2 new countries to something we call the Socios World Map. Regions where we're not just, having a user base, but actually having active partners. Poland and the Netherlands.
Yep.
One's big, one's small, but they're both pretty cool. You want to tell them about which 2 teams are kind of leading the way there?
Yes. So we have Legia Warsaw and Fortuna Sittard. I hope I didn't butcher the pronunciation of that. Legia Warsaw. I don't know.
I'm not getting involved in that.
Either way, it's great to have them on board. We have a very active Polish speaking Chiliz community, so they were very happy to see that we've announced a Polish team. I'm not sure what's happening. Oh, here's the video.
Guys, thank you for that. We had some classic. We call it a Richardism. Apparently, switching over to a preset video is too tough. He decided to go to the green screen, to the opening screen, to the closing screen. To just turned off the stream for a few seconds. But anyways, yeah, that was our hype video for Legia. Trust us, the music that we used for that video, if you could hear it, it's pretty good. So if you guys want to go to the Socios Twitter and Instagram, we have that video there. You can watch it in the comfort of your own home.
Yep.
Listen, I think that's basically it. We have one more piece of Kai news.
Yeah.
Atlético Independiente. You can do that, and then we'll just jump into new announcements.
They basically are going to be asking their fans, or they already have, I think. The poll is ongoing. So the fans will decide the design of the entrance tunnel. So obviously when the players walk through the tunnel, and we do have a video on your screen here, when the players walk through the tunnel, obviously they're going to see whatever message is written there. So it's kind of a cool opportunity for any Independiente fans to kind of leave their mark, I guess.
All right. Well, you kind of.
The club chooses the marks, and the fans vote on the mark.
Guaranteed influence, Joe.
Guaranteed share of influence. Fan tokens.
Guys, that basically runs it through the catch-up for us. We'll just move to upcoming news, and we'll try to be as tight about this as well, because I really want to get to the AMA. By the way, since we're getting closer to the AMA, just so you guys know, Tom can only read the English language. He's not one of those global citizens that spent time learning other cultures and other languages. Only English for Tom. So please, if you're going to drop questions, make sure they're not in Turkish, they're not in Korean, possibly in Russian, but I don't think you can read that either. Just so we can cover exactly what you're asking. You have the best shot to win that, the big prize for your question getting answered.
Yeah. And also, we do have a very high volume of messages coming through on the chat. So, Tom, I wish you the best of luck there dealing with that, and I hope to see some Slack messages soon.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move. Announcements. Stuff you guys may or may not have heard about. More topical stuff. I'll start things off. As you know, we have an MMA partner, the PFL, the Professional Fighters League, who pride themselves on being innovators in the space. They're launching, and they're launching soon. And I just want to let you guys know that end of March, we're going to be going live with them. And in April, they'll be dropping their first vote. I'm not going to tell you what the vote is. I can't do it. The news should be coming out in a few weeks, both from us and from PFL directly. But I'm really excited about it because they're going to have, let's say, content that I believe, even speaking as an MMA fan myself, that is really going to resonate with the fans and really follow through on our guaranteed influence promise. And to note on the PFL as well, kind of in a sense, not just to commemorate the PFL finally launching, but also make sure we have the bandwidth to support them and other partners that come along. We have a new hire, Carlos, who will be focusing on a new social media set of channels that we're doing. Socios Fighting, I believe is the name. Calvin, please correct me if that's not the name. If it's like Socios MMA, that would be really embarrassing that I didn't know it. So I really hope it's called Socios Fighting. But it's just going to be a dedicated place where we're going to cover PFL news, where we're going to cover UFC news and things that are coming up with them. And hopefully throughout the year, we're looking actively to make sure that our combat roster in the app is growing just as much as football. Mm-hmm. So I hope that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
You want to take the next
Sure.
point in announcements?
Sure. We recently announced that we are investing 50 million in an expansion into the USA. That news was received very well yesterday. It was covered by Reuters, which is obviously a huge publication.
Reuters.
I don't really care. I'm here to spit the facts. So obviously that's huge news, confirming that we're in talks obviously with the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, MLB. Max, as the American on this table, is there anything you want to tell the amazing viewers about this expansion into the United States?
No, I mean, we have to keep it really general, but I will say that in many ways for us, that piece was our big coming out party to make a statement and say, hey, listen, we understand there's been a lot of, let's say, hype, teasing, bubbling under the surface about the North American leagues. We wanted to make, even on a business level, a statement that, yes, we are going. We're in contact. We've made, let's say, first contact with all the big leagues, as Joe said, NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL, MLS. And our plans for the next 12 months through 2021 to 2022 is to start activating full token partnerships across those leagues with teams. And I can't say anything specific right now. All I'll say is, obviously, stay tuned, keep watching this show, make sure we go over 5,000 and 10,000 views so we don't get canceled. Richard and Alex are very choosy that way. So we can keep you up to speed, because this is, for the most part, outside of, like I say always, Alex's Twitter, going to be the first place you hear any of that news. So I'm really excited about it. And if anyone watches U.S. sports, I think they're going to be really excited within the next 1 or 2 months. Yeah. Okay. We can go and briefly touch on NFTs again. I guess take the reins on that. This will be quick. All I will say, for anyone that saw our CoinCheck announcement saying, we're exploring NFTs, we are building, and I have it in my head and on this very computer actually already, a specific plan of how we're going to format and differentiate an NFT layer offering for Socios.com. And I'm really excited about it, and I can't tell you more because this will be the last thing I do at this company if I just tell you what we're planning. So just know that it's front of mind for us, and we understand, for better or for worse, there's a lot of hype around NFTs. Yep. We're not really trying to time anything we do specifically with the hype, because I believe that layer, especially when it comes to crypto and sports, is here to stay. So it's not like we're on a timer to catch it right now. Yep.
I also kind of made that point on Twitter recently. It's very easy in this industry to kind of see a hot trend and then kind of just jump on it because of, that's what everyone's talking about. We believe that NFTs are really cool, and there are lots of cool things happening right now. If you look at, for example, NBA Top Shot, but we still believe that us taking our time and building a proper foundation for launch of our own NFTs is going to be way better than just quickly bootstrapping something, getting out the door, and going like that. Because, that's not really our style, is it?
Yeah.
Anymore.
Not anymore. When we were young whippersnappers coming up in the crypto game, I would say we did more than a few things just bootstrapping within the smallest short time frame possible. But I think you're very right. I actually think there's an analogy to be made between holding versus day trading and how newer crypto companies tend to act in the space, where we see a lot of stakeholders, whether it's us when we were starting out, zigzagging between hypes. So, a company could have one focus, and then they suddenly see DeFi went big, and they're like, no, everything we do has to be DeFi, and then everything we do has to be NFT, et cetera, et cetera. And I think a lot of companies shoot themselves in the foot doing that, because if you pick a vertical or a number of verticals in crypto and you just stick with them the same way as if you just buy Bitcoin or whatever, you say, I'm not going to look at the marketplace, I'm just going to hold, it tends to work out better, because then you're focusing on product and infrastructure and building, and you're not focusing on just maximizing these instant returns, whether it's on PR or whether it's on income, by chasing the next best thing. Because as we both know, Joe, the crypto space is a very effervescent space. Just because something is at the top of the world right now, there's no guarantee that in 2 months, it won't get completely shit on, or some crazy scandal will happen. Something will happen that'll take all the traction out, and then something else is going to obviously fill that vacuum.
Yep.
So that's why there's a danger. Sorry if that's a bit of a tangent. So we can keep moving. Joe, we got one last bit.
Yep.
On announcements. You can do that, and then we can move to a big
AMA.
thick AMA.
Yes, that's how I like. Wait, never mind.
Okay, here we go.
Never mind. Yes, Socios/Chiliz are now 99 employees. We may as well just say 100 to round it up and sound nice. But yes, we're anticipating by Q4 140 plus. Though Alex did tweet yesterday he wouldn't be surprised if it was around 200. But you know, we can't really predict what's going to happen in the future. But if we continue this pace of growth, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me either, really.
Yeah, true. I mean, that 140 plus number that we talk about is it did come from Alex's mouth. I don't know.
It seems a bit low.
It does seem a bit low, and I'm not going to call Alex Dreyfus, founder and CEO of Chiliz, a dirty liar. But if we have 300 people at the end of the year, I'm not the liar, so you figure that one out. That's it for announcements. Well, it's not it for announcements. We have a big boy coming later.
Yep.
But we have to fill the airtime for another 30 minutes.
Yeah. So basically,
we're going to do that with the AMA and also some banter.
Yes. If you have submitted a question, that's absolutely great because Tom has been sending them to me. Yeah, I guess we should just go ahead and start. If you do have a question, drop it down in the chat. Yeah. $10 in Chiliz reward if we answer your question. How do you claim that $10 in Chiliz? Best you find me on Telegram or contact your local Chiliz manager, for example, Brian in Korea, Oltug or Barish in Turkey, and we'll kind of go from there, I guess. It's probably the best.
Yeah, and I'm actually really excited about this because we were, the first time we did a live AMA, I think we were a bit nervous, and we noticed that there's actually more questions than we were able to answer. So going in depth for whatever you guys want to know about, as long as we're able to talk about it, I'm really excited about it. So with that in mind, Joe, I don't know if you're talking to Tom. Let's start things off. I'm just some questions.
Yes, I'm just kind of filtering because obviously we get a lot of the same questions. We have from Carl F. When will PSG and Juventus front the coins on their homepages?
When will PSG and Juventus front the coins?
So basically, I guess he's asking when the tokens will be more visible on the club partners' websites.
Sorry, I've been talking so much. I need some of this Chiliz branded water.
Hydro homies.
Hydrate or die, right? I think I made it. I made the mistake, and I think Boris agrees. Not drinking enough water before the show, it's killer. Anyways, to answer that question, a lot of our clubs, more established clubs, like you guys correctly pointed out, do have plans to promote, not necessarily Socios, but specifically their token, the same way Gala has been doing more and more, on their own native platforms, whether it's their website, app, etc. The reason we haven't been fast-tracking it, the reason we say, guys, hold your horses, is because we want, let's say, a more utilitarian and experiential approach to existing on those native areas for our partners. And we're going to do that. I know we talked about this last show, but connecting our own personal space, the Socios space, in our partners' apps and sites with the widgets that we're developing. And as of now, nothing's changed in the last 2 weeks, so we're still going to be ready kind of end of Q2, early Q3 with all those externalized widgets. So people are going to be able to, like we discussed, go buy the team's fan token, vote on the team's polls, sell the team's fan token if they want, trade actively in that native space, and not necessarily have to come to the socios.com app, which I think is really cool because, as we always say, we're not about lifting the profile of the company. We understand that the profile of Socios is going to get lifted if the tokens get lifted, and the tokens belong to the partners. Yep. So if putting us on their web pages means that fans can interface with the token itself and they don't even need to go to the app and there's a single login experience, that's what we want to do, and that's what we've pitched successfully to a bunch of these teams, and they've essentially said, okay, you do that stuff. When you're ready, we're going to get our tech teams together for a deeper integration, so it's not just a logo PNG or something on the app. It's a whole space where you can have the experience. So I hope that answers your questions.
Yeah. That was a very, very good answer. Let's see. We have a question from Mustafa Demir. He asks, when we will get the update of the Socios app, which was showed by Alex on his last stream? And I believe he's referring to gamification here.
Yes, he is. And I don't want to put a specific rollout date for that, but I would say in the next 8 to 12, 14 weeks, it should happen. We're actively kind of, let's say, in the tail end of developing all that, and we just want to make sure that it's fully polished and ready for the user volume that we've been experiencing, because it's very different keeping 1,000 users and 50,000 users a day happy. But it will come, and again, I know this is like might as well be the slogan of the Chiliz Show, but
soon
this summer. And I think Alex should maybe have some updates for you guys straight on his Twitter to tease stuff and tease dates soon. So keep.
We love a good tease.
Yeah, keep a lookout there. It's the best I could do there.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely fine.
I will say, as let's say receipts for you guys, so you know that we're not just blowing smoke up your collective international asses. Many of the partners that we're currently in talks with, they know, and part of their plan for using Socios and the fan token involves both the gamification layer and our upcoming team-specific leaderboard layer, as well as our team-specific fan shop that we're going to be rolling out in the app. So we've already made these promises to the teams, our partners, so if we're not going to let them down, and that means by that function, we're not going to let you down. I hope that means at least a little bit, so don't hate me too much.
Okay. Question from Nick Hayes. When will we see C on the show?
Ooh, that's a very good point. We should have probably asked her to come on today.
Yeah, it's true. She would have been a good sub.
But the thing is, you know, out of sight, out of mind, and C decided to work from home today, so
yes,
you snooze, you lose, C. I didn't realize she was an in-demand Chiliz woman. If that's the case, guys, please let us know. Let us know in the comments under the show. You know, tweet at me or Joe directly. I don't actually use Twitter. I just like getting the followers. So maybe actually just tweet Joe. And let us know if you want C on board. We'll try to bring her as often as we can, so she can hang out with us here.
I will be honest. C's fan base has been growing exponentially recently.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know.
More fans than me.
Yeah.
I've got none.
Didn't know. Okay, let's move on.
Yep. Okay. Do we have any plans for Football World Championships? And that's from Ben M. And he says, greetings from Germany. Guten Tag, mein Freund.
Guten Tag, Ben M.
Yes.
It's good because I thought you were one of many other Bens, but now I know you're Ben M. Football, do we have any plans for football championships?
Like Euro, I guess, World Cup, I guess.
But I think he means like in the scope of our partner teams playing, or do he just means because the question could be taken two ways. Either our partners kind of begin doing tournaments, you know, exhibition events, or are we at some point going to start onboarding national teams and not just private clubs?
I think that's what he's referring to because he says the Football World Championships. So
okay. Listen, it's better safe than sorry. Yeah, I will say that let's say the road towards creating agreements with national clubs is much more complex, and it requires a lot more stakeholders than doing so with private teams. So we have great interest in it, and we've been talking to let's say several associations, but the conversation's ongoing. So it's a long-term prospect for us. But I agree it would be super cool. You know, it's on our radar. We're looking at it. Joe?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to find more amazing questions. Yeah, here's Boris. Yes.
Wow.
Someone asks, will we ever have it so that fans can pay with Chiliz to purchase merchandise and match tickets?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I believe short and midterm, we do have those plans, but I would like to keep that for outside of the app for now. A reason for that is one of our big, let's say, store-based features that we're working on is to make sure that people essentially we get away from randomized rewards and we get into a system where your loyalty and engagement is the currency that gives you access to the store and the rewards. And for that reason, offering, let's say, a Chiliz shortcut where we say, well, either buy this with loyalty points or buy this with Chiliz, it kind of undermines the importance of that and the mission of that. But that said, we have been talking a lot about creating an externalized platform where essentially, whether it's web-based or not, we create an official Socios shop that only accepts Chiliz, and you have to go there to buy those things. So I would say it's more of creating an alternative for now to use Chiliz to buy all the sweet exclusive gear that we may offer, and not a place to do it together with your loyalty points inside the app.
Good answer. Good
Yeah.
answer.
Obviously, everything like that is fluid. Maybe it changes in the future, but for now, that's our plan.
Yep. I'd just like to remind everyone who's watching, first of all, thank you. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, send a message in chat with a question to ask us. Actually, in 20 minutes from now, we have a partnership announcement, so stay tuned. We're going to get through some more questions, and I'm going to start with Pele, who is a Chiliz Alliance member. So Pele, thank you for tuning in today. He wants to know if we can expect some lady sports in the future.
Lady sports.
Like competitive women's leagues, I guess.
I don't see why not. It's kind of weird it's always been weird for me to genderize sports. That said, we have been in contact in the U.S., with the WMLS, etc. Women's teams on that front. Mm-hmm. But we go where the business growth takes us, and a lot of it, I think, comes down to be honest, the outreach hasn't been there, and maybe that's, to be honest, something we should be looking into, because it could be a big gap that we've been missing. Yep. Because like many teams, like many companies, part of what our partnerships and business development chases is, well, what's the next big thing? What's the biggest profile team, JV, etc., that we can get wrapped up to grow our ecosystem? And if that creates a blind spot for more niche sports or more important sports, whether it's women's sports, etc., maybe it's something that we need to fill the gap with. So it's a good question, Pele. Thanks for putting me on the spot. It's really nice of you.
Cool. Yes, good one, Pele. Yes, we have a question from Hussein, and he wants to know about NAVI. I'm just going to take his question and make it a slightly better question. When and / have we figured out the burning mechanisms for esports fan tokens?
I'm working on it currently. I still haven't figured it out. To be honest, it's a tough nut to crack, because what we ended up figuring out for football is universal, and it's a rule. Yep. It's not just a hypothesis, opinion. It's not something that's going to be changing, and it works for the entire vertical. And I want to make sure that whatever we make up for esports is just as universal. And it's just so tough to do it, because, I mean, as many of you guys know that follow esports, it's almost unfair that we have a football category and an esports category, because esports is its own universe of sports. Esports has, NBA 2K rosters. They have people that play F1 based games. They have people that just play League. It's a whole community of sports, and all of those sports operate with different game frequency metrics, with different scoring metrics. Mm-hmm. So just creating a single system that covers every single competitive play format and would create, let's say, an intelligent path to burning that follows a similar, let's say, timeline that we want to look into for football. That kind of 5-10 year burn half, etc. The rest gets into fan circulation idea. It's very hard to do. Yes.
I mean, it's not like the sports teams who just have usually just one sports team, and that's the team that plays. In esports organizations can pick up teams from different games. So you may have League of Legends, CSGO, Dota, all in one organization. Keeping track of all of that for burning fan tokens is actually going to prove difficult, but I have faith in you, Max. I'm sure you know.
No, I'm hoping. I mean, like I said, it's a tough nut to crack. But because it would be easy if we only onboarded league rosters. It would be easy. We could do it tomorrow. We can figure out some metrics, but it's not the case. So please bear with us. And Hussein, I know you asked specifically about NAVI. Мне нравится NAVI. Я родился в России. Я русский. So, as a let's say a person of Slavic origin, I have a soft spot for NAVI.
Yeah, me too. As a person of esports origin,
same but different.
Yeah. Okay. We got a question from Thibaut Lompart. I guess he's French. So hello, thank you for your question. He wants to know: will we ever expect players like Neymar or Mbappe to promote the fan token?
to promote the fan token.
Yeah, I guess he's just asking top players of the teams of our partners, when can we expect them?
Listen, to promote the fan token, it's always on our radar. It depends a lot on us and the team. To get to a point where you have these international stars, I don't want to say, shilling, but popularizing teams' fan tokens and really getting engaged to it, you have to hit a very high benchmark of success. And no matter how much, let's say, historical success we've had, and we've had quite a lot. I mean, you look at the fan token trading volume is going from $25,000 in volume a day a year ago to, up to sometimes $250 million a day. It seems like amazing growth, but part of me believes we're not quite there. We're not quite ready yet, because if you have names like Neymar, etc., suddenly starting to actively talk to the people that love him and saying, "Yo, check this out," that's a whole new level of outreach and influence that hopefully by the time that we are starting to make those kind of agreements, we'll really be ready to blow the socks off of any casual user who may just be a Neymar fan, not necessarily a fan of a specific football team as much, which is, a lot of that is the case. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but in a lot of places in the world, people follow stars more than they follow teams.
Yes, that's true.
So when we get there, and if you ever see Neymar talking about a token and saying he's a fan, you'll know that we've really arrived. We've really matured in the football space. So you'll be hearing about it on this show. This will be a TV show when that happens.
Yeah, I completely agree. Question from Casey asking which club asked for payment in Chiliz. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to tell you that we're not going to tell you for now. I'm sure that we're going to release some PR about it soon, like Alex tweeted. But yes, today a team did tell us that they wanted to be paid in Chiliz, which is pretty cool, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a new high watermark for Chiliz demand. But I will say, in our company, we've had more and more vendors and resources that we work with essentially begging to be paid with Chiliz. I know that there's some video agencies and resources in the U.S. who we've historically worked with that went from asking from fiat to being like, hey, do you guys think like it's okay if you pay us in Chiliz? And the same, we've actually our U.S. legal counsel is a big crypto futurist, and he would rather get paid in Chiliz as well. Whether we actually pay them in Chiliz or not, I'm not gonna say on this show, but I think it's funny that it's kind of moved on from small vendors and commercial partners of the company into the actual teams we work with. They're like, hey, we want to go to the moon too. Essentially, you can see it in the language that they use when asking about it.
Fair enough. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Pele has another question. It's a good question because it's not something that has been asked for a while. Socios Web. That's been something that we've been working on for some time. Do we have any update or any info that we can tell the audience about the Socios Web?
Yes. I don't have a specific day for you, but I would say in 8 to 12 weeks.
Okay.
We should be having some massive news on that front, including hopefully some rollouts. It's a project that we care a lot about, but we want to make sure it's super polished as well, because for us, rolling out Socios as a desktop experience doesn't just come with porting essentially the app features onto desktop, but it's going to come with, let's say, a lot of new features and a lot of new business and engagement opportunities that just aren't possible on mobile. So we're there's this big balancing act of making sure we don't just release a good web app, but we release it with all this cool new stuff that you guys are going to really enjoy. It's going to really open up the Socios ecosystem too, both inside crypto and sports.
Very cool. Very cool. We have a blockchain question from Michael saying, is there any plans for more BEP20 tokens? Well, maybe it's a possibility. The problem is that with our user base, these are complex blockchain. Well, I mean, they're not complex, but they are difficult to understand concepts of blockchain around networks and not being able to, they're not interoperable. So you cannot send one token from Ethereum to a token onto Binance Smart Chain. It's not how it works. So we saw a lot of users sending their tokens either on the wrong network to wrong addresses. And I think for now, we just need a little bit of breathing room before we would make any more decisions. But basically, what Alex has said in the past is we use what works for us. Obviously, we've spoke about more plans to make our ecosystem more open in the future. So that kind of relates to that too. But I'd say for now, unlikely in the near future. But also, this is crypto and this is Chiliz and Socios. So that could just go completely out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, Burke Kanpalta in the chat says, "Are you coking with people? Know any news?" We're trying the best we can. This is news.
10 minutes, and we will be announcing a new Socios.com partner.
I will say, I don't know why the guy's upset. I overtly said at the top of the show, the news will come at 4:20 p.m. CET time. If you would like to stop watching and just come back then, you're more than happy to do it. Listen, I'm the first to admit that me and Joe are verbose people, sometimes just blowing hot air at each other. Anyways, jokes aside, any more questions?
Yep.
On your end.
The deals. Please bear with me. I am looking.
Joe, you do know this is a live show, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like I was hoping you would come in and just be like, well, this and that.
We
whilst
can't,
I can like scroll.
We can't edit out these awkward silences.
There's no awkward
live.
silence.
Okay.
Today, any partnership? Yes. I don't know why I answered that. It's just there's lots of questions.
In 9 minutes.
Paul Miller says, will Pele donate his $10 of Chiliz to charity because he thinks Arsenal need help? That's a good one. Yes, Pele is an Arsenal fan. That's why that joke. Do you pay your employees in cash or Chiliz?
I'm not going to answer that. That's confidential company news. But I love the level of interest in the goings on at Chiliz Socios. Joe, can we reach Chiliz cup or T-shirt or etc.? Oh, that's a good one. We can kind of ruminate on. Kind of goes to, and we've had a lot of talks about Chiliz merch.
Yes.
Maybe we should start creating our own lines.
I actually was informed today that we have some plans that are evolving. We have been talking about Chiliz merchandise for a long time. Obviously, we have the Socios limited edition partner T-shirts, which kind of are really hot. A lot of people love them, so they've been doing really well. But we do want Chiliz merch. As me, an employee of Chiliz, and I mean, obviously Chiliz and Socios, same company really, but I work on the crypto side of the business. I want to be wearing Chiliz swag all day, every day, and I know you do too. Especially socks. Maybe that's going to happen. Socks would be cool.
I actually noticed in the chat there's a lot of interest in this beautiful Chiliz mug.
Yeah.
So and people are asking, can we even stake to get the mug? I don't know, but we're
stake to get the mug.
We're gonna look at a bunch of different ways, I guess, to get you this mug. I also noticed in the chat as well, Eduardo Ribeiro is just yelling, Brazil. Yes.
Hello, Brazil.
Yes, we actually do have a professional that's working with us, actively talking to the Brazilian market at every level of sports there, because together, let's say with our inclusion in Mercado there, it's a key marketplace for us, and we're trying to create very deep relationships with all the top teams in Brazil, so our Brazilian users actually have a native experience, and obviously if we're actually successful in that, that'll come with a bunch of localization features specifically to Brazil, whether it's payment providers, whether it's language localization. It will all come should we actually find success. But you'll have to bear with us. This isn't me just teasing you. We don't know. A lot of these conversations are fluid, but they are happening in Brazil. Probably not as we speak, but they're happening on a regular basis.
Yep. I think we should just kind of look at chat for the remaining 5 minutes that we have free.
Is this an admission that Tom failed to secure enough questions?
Have you seen the speed in which chat has been scrolling? We have 400 viewers still.
I wish I could read Korean because I feel like, what are they saying?
Brian, help us out here. If you can see any good Korean questions.
Yeah. I like the idea that the Hammond had with a Chiliz soccer jersey. That would be really cool to kind of create themed merchandise verticals. We have MMA gear, but it's Socios. We have football gear, but it's Socios, etc. Could be fun. It could be a fun way to even if we do the store, for example, to create a generic level of rewards for people that are just app-wide fans, people that are fan token fans, not necessarily trying to chase the dream of a specific team, but just, you know, really love the gamified sports marketplace. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Nope. That was absolutely fine. Yes, we have a question from JHM who's asking if we're planning to fix the Chiliz Explorer. Yes, we have some issues with the Chiliz Explorer. Don't worry, it's nothing critical. Just some loading issues due to our protection software, I assume. That is going to be fixed soon, hopefully.
Great. Brian finally translated what the Korean contingent in the chat was asking. Turns out they all want big news. I mean, at this point, I feel like nothing we say short of like hey guys, we've tokenized South Korea. It's just the whole thing's just running on Chiliz now. I think short of that, they're going to be disappointed.
Yeah,
so I'm not
probably
happy about that.
Yeah.
You know what we could do? We could do this for a few minutes since. I mean, we'll keep an eye on questions as well.
Yep.
Actually, here's a good question before. I was going to say we should talk a little bit about the future before the announcement. You know, the future. But Derb's Apparel Co. had a really good question. Will you be doing social tokens for individual players and people? I think it's a very interesting one to talk about because we have actively looked at it, guys. My biggest problem with, let's say, the social token proposal and tokenizing individuals is, and I forget if we've talked about this or not, but it's the classic issue of the perennial nature of crypto assets versus the, let's say, non-perennial nature of people, both as public figures and as human beings on this beautiful earth. Meaning, if we were to create a token that is attached to a person, that's exciting, but part of what gives our proposition value is that we have long-term value. You know, teams change. They go through different management. They go through different players. They go through different ownership, but the team is there. If we tokenize a musician, for example, and that musician pulls a Daft Punk and decides, you know, fuck it, we're retiring. We've made enough money and we've worn enough helmets. Where does that leave the social token owners, and where does that leave the actual ecosystem of the token itself? Because it's now, I don't want to say it's worthless, but it has no utility and it has no end game in terms of how you're using it. And outside of making an argument that like, oh, well, you know, it's kind of now, you can look at them as a very common level of collectibles, etc. There's not much to do.
It's a souvenir.
Right, but the problem with that is cups are souvenirs.
Yeah.
I don't buy a mug thinking, well, as the mug manufacturer becomes more and more engaged in mug making, the mug's going to be worth more money. People aren't buying social tokens as souvenirs, is what I'm saying.
Yes,
so I believe it creates a moral hazard where you're inherently selling assets that aren't forever and that are almost, you could argue, locked in to losing value because the thing that gives them value is not going to last forever. And let alone not going to last forever, I'm talking about like death. I'm saying if they fall out of the spotlight, if there's a scandal with the, you know, let's say a football player who's attached to a token, where does that leave the users? And it's very easy for us to, you know, create a token and create hype for that and sell it based on all the promise of that fund. But I think considering we know that that's almost a 100% outcome, it's not necessarily the correct structure to do it. All that said, I do believe there's ways to get around that. I do believe there's, whether it's levels of abstraction, etc., where you can plug in for a single token different personalities or something along those lines. I think there's ways to get around it, but I think no one's really there yet. So it's something that we personally are going to be staying away from in that specific format. So
that's a absolutely fantastic answer, and thank you for the question. I don't remember who asked that one.
Yeah. And the best part about that answer, it brought us all the way up to 419.
Yep. So without further ado, I guess we can say, Richard, please can you load the video?
Load the video. Do not play it, Richard.
We are going to be announcing a brand new Socios.com partner.
Okay, video is ready. Do me the honor, Joe, of just staring blankly at the cameras until the clock hits 420.
Okay. Which camera? That one?
Anyone. Your camera. Don't say anything. This is going to be the longest minute of our lives. Boris the Pigeon, what do you think? Well, I don't want to accidentally overtalk on the 420 announcement. Boris, we got 30 seconds left.
I think we can just play it now.
You want to?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Calvin's watching. He's ready. 420. Let's go. Roll the clip.
Shoot.
There we have it.
Guys, Joe,
Yeah. You want me to do the honors of...
I can't read Korean. I don't know if they were excited.
Yeah, I think they're excited.
I'm seeing a lot of lulls. Is that good?
Yeah, I think that's good. But yes, welcome to socios.com. Göztepe.
You said it right. Göztepe. Yeah. And, we're excited about having our newest Turkish partner. I really hope, considering so many of our viewers are Turkish, they're excited about this as well. This is a fly by the seat of your pants type partnership. Those guys were really excited to come on board. We were really excited. And we were just like, you know what? Why play around? Why tease each other with long lawyer conversations? Let's just do it. Let's just partner up. Let's get this token ready. Let's get some votes lined up. Let's get the fans involved. And it happened. So here we go. So at least for once, 1% of the time, this live stream has not let people down because we actually announced something. We didn't just say,
true.
hey, we're working on it.
It's true. We did announce something.
Listen, guys, please feel free to tell me or Joe or Socios or Chiliz on Twitter how you feel about this announcement. If it lived up to your expectations, I would love to read about that. I'm sure it's all going to be really positive knowing how you guys treat us on Twitter. And yeah, obviously stay tuned on all our channels for more news because we're going to be activating these guys shortly.
Yep. That all said and questions done with, should we move on to the small part that we call the future?
Let's talk about the future.
The future.
Yeah. We'll keep it short because I think everyone's going to start leaving.
Yes.
After the announcement anyways. They know that we're just worthless shells. They're just here for the news. Sure, the future.
Yep.
I'm just going to read these as I do normally, verbatim, are very loose notes. So point 1, Bitcoin volatile, comma, healthy consolidation, comma, miners stopped selling?
Yes. As you may have seen, we saw Bitcoin recently drop all the way from 58K down to 47K. I think it maybe went a bit lower than that. I try not to remember. But yes, we saw a healthy consolidation, which gives us room for the next leg up, which is kind of what we say in the crypto space. Miners have stopped selling. F2 Pool, a Asian-based mining pool, have been selling since December or something, and they finally stopped selling this month, or last month, the end of last month. Mm-hmm. So that's good news. And we've seen, obviously, today that Bitcoin has slowly, it's recovering. And we're seeing, hopefully, some new highs again soon.
All right. I'll leave this next one up to you as well. Point 2. Ethereum optimization, EIP 1559.
Optimism.
Oh, it says Ethereum optimism.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could make an argument that we could have salvaged that by saying it. Optimization is new. You do it.
Yes, Ethereum is basically rolling out some new scaling features called Optimism. I believe it's a layer 2 solution. There's actually quite a lot of talk about layer 2 right now. I haven't actually personally tried any layer 2 solution. I know that Polygon Xmatic is very popular right now, and I've been kind of trying to keep up, but there's so much noise, and I'm trying to do my job at the same time. It becomes very difficult to keep up with the trends. One thing I will say that EIP 1559, if you follow Ethereum, you should know it. Basically, a percentage of fees collected by miners instead of going to their pockets are burnt, which is great for the supply of Ethereum on the market. And also, that is going to be hopefully released in the Ethereum London update, which is in July. So it's being fast forwarded because of people realize that we need some scaling solutions right now.
When you talk like that, Joe, you sound to me like a hacker in a bad 1990s movie about hacking on the internet.
That Hackers movie. Have you seen Hackers?
I'm specifically talking about Hackers starring Joni Lee Miller.
That's a really good
and
movie.
Angelina
I love
Jolie.
that movie.
It's a classic, yeah. But that's what you sound like anyway.
Okay,
so.
well, I would try and improve in how I speak.
Interesting fact, Joe actually came here on rollerblades today. That's a Hackers reference for anyone that's 30 to 40 years old. All right, last bit of the future. By the way, after the future, I do have one thing I'm going to do. It's called a quick fire segment for AMAs, just for a few minutes, because I did see some questions we missed, and we're just going to try to, bang, bang, boom, get them taken care of. But in the meantime, the last point in the future. Implications of NFT space hitting mainstream in the U.S. sports market, dash. Where will the space settle? Games, dash. I think games. What does Joe think, question mark?
Yes. What does Joe think? Oh, that's
You're
me.
Joe.
Yeah. Yes. I think NFTs are very interesting. As I previously said about trends in crypto, I am pretty slow to adopt new tech in crypto because I want it to kind of prove itself first. We kind of saw the same with DeFi. I wasn't convinced in the beginning. I was one of the people on Twitter calling it a scam, and I would admit that. It's okay to be wrong, and you learn from your mistakes. So NFTs, very interesting. The only issue I'm seeing right now, so we have some big players right now, NFT Hotshot's probably the top right now. If they keep releasing more and more, there's an inflation of the market of lots of NFTs. So the moments aren't selling for as high as they were before. There's just a huge liquidity problem in NFTs. It's like if people just lose interest and there's a new trend, how are you going to sell the NFT you've purchased for a few Ethereum, for example?
You're saying there's a fundamental issue right now in NFTs where the NFT marketplace as a whole globally is inherently inflationary, whereas the main value points which currently drive hype in crypto are the fact that many of the assets are actually deflationary. Is that what you're trying to tell me right now?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Because if they just can release new packs onto the market, obviously they want to attract lots of users. I expect there to be some point where it kind of settles out, but I don't know if we're going to be seeing these moments selling for huge amounts of Ethereum like we were before if they keep introducing lots of new packs, and the old packs are just going to lose value very fast.
It's actually interesting that you point that out, because the reason I think the space is going to settle in games is because the idea of games and increasing usership of games allows that inherently inflationary nature of NFTs to essentially be transversed into higher user numbers for emergent games which utilize NFTs to help people win or to use as essentially tools to play the game itself. Meaning that it's okay to keep printing more and more NFTs as long as you do it in a game format where you say, hey, we have a game that had 500,000 people and now it has 10 million. So it's okay if there's more NFTs because the utilitarian demand to use them inside this specific game is going to keep, let's say, the price and actual relative rarity when you look at proportions of NFTs per person, relatively stable.
Yeah, you just tied up my point very well. I agree. I think the biggest problem with NFTs is them finding actual utility that can provide sustainable demand. Right now, the only demand is people who are buying because they want to sell higher. What happens when you plug actual utility into the NFTs?
That's true. I mean, you could look at it and say, for me, the end game for utilities, and again, guys, it's just an opinion. So if you don't agree, tell me to fuck myself. I don't know. Is that it's a much more eloquent solution to the digital scarcity and rarity markets that have been around in video games forever. I mean, you even look at the dirty old days of CSGO skins. They made up a terrible, immoral utility, but that was still enough to actually drive that market because people said, well, look, actually, there's a second game, and it's a child casino. And obviously that was terrible, and that's not going to happen with NFTs. But it just goes to show that even if you have that modicum of base level skeletal utility, it's going to work. And it was working, back in a very janky format with skins that weren't on-chain, that weren't trustless, that weren't flexible to the point where you can plug them in and out of however many platforms or experiences you want. Yep. So that's that.
Yeah.
Listen, that's the future, guys. In my opinion, that's the future of NFTs. Tell us your opinion. Let's make the show more interactive. If you want to do a quick fire of some questions before me and Joe sign off. Here's Jakub asked Tom, is Chiliz as a company planning to move into the stock market in the future? I wouldn't tell you that, even if I had the answer. So thank you for asking. Thomas asked, any partner today? That's a question from the past. There is a partner. It's Gostepe. Nick F. asked, does Chiliz consider to be used in national elections? I wish. I've been bringing this point up since before we actually went live on a platform. The amount of scrutiny that would bring if we were at election validation alternative. Would it be worth a squeeze? Maybe, but it would be really cool. Boris Tural asked, do you pay Chiliz or cash to your workers? We already told you we're not going to tell you. What our workers do is our business. Jeez Louise. Christian asked, this is to Joe, how many Polish people work at Chiliz? Do you know, Joe? How many Polish people are currently employed by our company or the holding company which holds Chiliz?
1.
The answer is 1.
Really?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay.
So prove us wrong. If you guys want to go sleuthing around
hopefully more in the future.
The internet.
In the future, the real future, not the present.
I think that's basically it. I feel like I saw a few more pretty good questions. Someone kept yelling Tesla in the chat. Not sure why. We don't make cars yet. And I think, that's about it. I see a lot of hype in the chat, and it's all about stuff I can't actually speak on. So I'm sorry, guys. Please keep the hype going. Oh, wait, no, actually, people are writing. Any Turkish employee in Chiliz? Asked by Alp. Yes, we have an entire Turkish office, which currently, as far as I know, has 3 full-time employees, and will have
more. I think it's like 4 or 5 now.
Oh, now we have 4 or 5. Okay, well, it keeps growing. So to answer your question, let's say 5. Powell asks, is it possible to get fan tokens with ticket to stadium after all pandemic will finish? We're not going to tie token ownership directly to just direct, like you have X amount of tokens, which means you have a ticket. But a majority of our tokens will include the exclusive utility of, if you're holding the tokens, you will be able to either compete in some format for match day ticketing with a lot of our teams. So yes, to answer your question, in part, and especially once the pandemic is over and teams are really comfortable having fans back in the stadium en masse, 100%. That is, that's one of the big things we want to do for fans. If you're a fan, we want to help you get in the stadium.
Yep.
Okay.
You still want to carry on with these quick fires?
I want you to answer 1 just to prove that you're reading the chat, and then we can say bye. And don't make it be from like an alliance member. Find a hard-hitting question. You had Pele ask me if we're planning on stopping ignoring women's sports.
That wasn't the question. It wasn't the question.
But it's the implication of the question.
Okay, so. Right.
Guys, you're watching. Please ask Joe 1 really hard to answer question, and then we're going to sign off. So,
someone asked about West Ham. We were partnered with West Ham. We mutually agreed to... what's the right word? Disband it?
You're the one answering the question, Joe.
We mutually agreed to the partnership.
We mutually agreed to part ways because we realized that the timing of our partnership wasn't very conducive to a successful rollout either for Chiliz.
Yeah, and they're doing better without us.
Or for West Ham, because the team itself was in a state of transition and, let's say, fan turmoil.
Yes, and now fans are happier than ever because we are the biggest team in London.
Yeah. And last question before we say bye, Christopher Alvarado asked,
what are you drinking?
Joe, what are you drinking?
I am drinking H2O. Stay hydrated, Hydro homies.
There you have it, guys. Please tweet Serena. Tell her you're very disappointed in the fact that she's not in the show. Tweet at me or Joe to tell us, guys, this was the worst show yet. I think it's very ironic that this is the most widely watched one, considering it was your worst performance to date. If you find Richard anywhere on the internet, tell him that he was this fucking close. This close to doing well, and then he just completely turned the entire stream off for a second. And as always, just anywhere you can find Socios and Chiliz, just write down any of your thoughts, what you want us to see in the future. If you think we need new segments, if we need to freshen things up, because we're doing this for you, and I really hope that our 5K and 10K viewership shows are right around the corner, so that my wife doesn't think I'm a failure for doing these shows.
Yeah.
Hi, Mariana. Oh, okay. That's very sweet. Okay. Richard, producer Richard just said that he somehow has a video of my wife and my young son watching the show, which I think
That is cute. That's really cute. You should feel pretty happy right now.
creepy. But anyways, guys, listen. Let's not talk up a storm.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the Chiliz Show episode 4, and we'll see you hopefully in 2 weeks, and maybe even less. I don't know in the future.
Yep.
You tell us.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please subscribe. I hope to see you on the next Chiliz Show. I hope to see you on Twitter, Telegram, everywhere. Share our news. I hope you're enjoying being a Chiliz community member. It's a pretty good time to be a Chiliz community member, and keep supporting us as we continue world domination.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye, guys.